You know, the one thing that I was thinking about was, I don't know about you, but when me and the second guy, which would be called like my apparent twin flame,
Right.
when me and him parted ways, I felt so much anxiety. It was like on 10 to the point where I went to a friend and asked if she's sorry, if she had like anxiety pills for me because
Right.
I couldn't cope. Like literally, I could not cope. And it was funny because shortly after that, when I did take the pill, he got a hold of me and was like, basically, he texted me and he was just like, no, no, what did he do? I think he called me and I had left my phone at home. And he was like, I woke up thinking about you and blah, 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 and I never responded to him because I was at home and I felt the anxiety on 10 that day. And I don't even know if it was because my ass didn't answer the phone or whatever, and it was his anxiety I was feeling. I don't know. But I remember it was on 10 and it never stopped after that. And he had messaged me one last time and he said it was on Mother's Day. Because he didn't wish me a happy birthday, which Mother's Day fell on my birthday. But he had said Happy Mother's Day and God is good. And that was the last time I ever heard from him. But until just lately, but it was
Right.
like after that, it was like the anxiety was on 10. I was literally on prescription. Man, I never went through any of this shit when I was going through my divorce. Was I depressed? Yes, I was depressed, but the anxiety was not there like it was with this guy. And like even on my birthday, man, I took a pill and I was drinking. And the only person that noticed it was my best friend. And she said, because I guess I was being real nasty and rude, not even realize I was doing it because I was on that pill. But she was like, "Man, right now you're really acting like a bitch." She goes, "I don't know what you're on," but she goes, "Something's off with you." And I had told her what I did, and she goes, "Don't you ever do that again, ever." She goes, "That is so dangerous." She goes, "You could die from that," because she's a nurse. And but anyways, yeah, like the anxiety was so high, like I could not cope. Literally, like, and I remember getting on my knees that night and I was just, please just take this away from me because I don't know what's happening to me right now. It was unreal and I couldn't understand it because I wasn't with him that long to be going through all that. And like I said in my last video, I felt really trapped. So I don't know if you went through that too, like the
Oh,
anxiety.
absolutely. 100%. I'm nodding my head because it feels like it's happening to you. We've all had bad breakups. I mean, I apparently, met my other self when I was 53, and I'd had a life before that. I'd gone through divorce like you. And a few years before that, I'd had two really bad breakups with two people you know, loved very much. And, they were long-term relationships. And one took me about 6 months, but even that 6 months, it got better and got better and got better. And, the first couple months were really hard because we were engaged or whatever. But yeah, the whole twin thing, you can't stop it. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like you can't turn it off. I felt like I was insane. And it felt like for the first couple of months, it got worse. Like it was like it just was so ridiculous that I was thinking, I've, what is it? Like, I mean, I was with my parent other for 2.5 years, but the norm, is the twin flame lore is usually, 6 weeks to 4 months or whatever, but it can happen this way because the reverse thing happened with us. My twin and I were together for 2.5 years, but the breakup time, the time where things went south, was over a 6 week period. And it wasn't bad. I mean, when I tell you there was no fighting, there was just a couple little things where I'm, sarcasm or okay, I got it, shit like that normal couples do every day. And then he ghosted me, gone, like boom, gone. Didn't even like, he broke up with me in a text message the next day after 2.5 years. So I was completely gutted, but different, like
Yeah.
I'd had bad breakups, but this was like you said, it was I was begging God to take me. Same thing, please. I can't do this. I don't know how I got through my job. Like I would go out on my, at lunchtime and just cry in my car. Then I started, it's a process. The twin flame thing is different, I think. And that's just a label for it. It's whatever
Yeah.
this happens appears to fuck your whole life up. But then at the other side, when you, through the process of whatever's peeling off you, or, and it's all an illusion, at the end of the day, you realize you were already that.
Yeah.
You come into this place where it's like, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I feel so grateful now that it happened. My life is so much better. Like, not because he left, but because the journey, whatever you want to call it, whatever, he was a catalyst, because they are his energy, woke me up to an apparent journey to back to what you're there. But I feel, yeah, but it fucks you up, man. Anyone who's watching this, because what I was thinking, Shannon, is that nobody's going to watch this who isn't on the journey. We like to say, like, oh, if you watch this and you think we're fucking crazy. The fact is, the only people that are going to find this video are seeking people who are on this fucking journey, begging for answers.
I know. It's so funny. I couldn't even cope working. Like I couldn't be at work at first. Like it was so ridiculous. Like I could not work. And if I was at work, I was talking about it all 24 hours, not 24, but the 8 hours I was on clock, I was like literally talking about it to everyone. And I know they were tired of hearing about it. I know they were, but I couldn't help it. That's the problem, is I couldn't help but to talk about it. Oh my God. And I just crack up thinking about my friend John, like the things that he witnessed while I was going through this whole thing. It just, I don't know. I was never a reader. I don't read shit. Like that's just not my thing. But for some reason, I literally was like a psycho online.
Me too. Me too.
Rolling down, like reading chapter after chapter after chapter. And I'm like, and John, he would get home from work and I'd be online, and then he would go to bed and I'm still online. He'd wake up and I'd still be online looking up stuff. And he's like, oh my God.
It's insane. Like, but the same as you, I hadn't read a book, and like, because I was a single mom, I had 3 kids. My kids had finally grown up, but when this appeared to happen, but I didn't read. And I fucking read everything. I read everything. I was on Reddit. I was on Quora. I was on this. I was that. I was reading answers. I was fucking, because I didn't know what twin flames were. That shit never, before my twin left, didn't even fucking know what it was. Or whatever you want, if you want to even say twin flame. But once he left and it kicked in and I came across it, I was like, oh my God, this is what's happening to me. And then I couldn't get enough of it. It
Videos,
was just like
movies,
anything.
Listen to other people that are talking about it online and stuff, and like it's like you wanted, and then the tarot cards came in. I had to watch the Divine Feminine readings.
Oh God, masculine. You just reminded me. I was literally a tarot card junkie. I want to say for 6 months. Oh, I was and I had these certain people that I followed, and I paid a lady to tell me about. I did it. I think the tarot card thing is a telltale sign, because I had never watched a fucking tarot card reading in my life prior to that.
Then I was into it though. Weren't you into it? Did you want to know? Like, this is not nothing to do with twin flames, but like, before like twin flames, like I used to go and get my palm read about other things, not like this shit. It was just like a curious thing. Like I wanted to know what they had to serve me, what they were going to say. But it wasn't like this, like the divine masculine and feminine.
I didn't know what a tarot card reader was till after this apparent thing kicked in.
Oh.
Then all of a sudden I was watching them all day long. I'm talking all fucking day. From the moment I woke up till the time, it was tarot card readings. It was like this, I can't, like you said, it was like an addiction. I couldn't stop it. It was just like, there was such a hardcore seeking. I just wanted to feel better at anything to make it go away. I wanted it to just go away.
With me, I just wanted to know if he was coming.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if I was ever going to see him again. And what's so funny? With me and him, when we first started out dating, I think it started with him first, that the insecurities, like he would tell me, like, I don't feel secure enough. Like he told me how he was very insecure and he would cry. And I couldn't understand it because I'm looking at this man who works out daily at a gym and his body's on point, like legit. Like he had this, oh my God, it was gorgeous. I couldn't stop, I couldn't believe it. And that's not why I even talked to him. When I first met him, I didn't even know he had that body until he took his shirt off. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Because I've never dated a guy that was fit. All my men were all different sizes. They were never, either they were too skinny or they were kind of, a little thick. I never really judged that though. It wasn't that's not why I dated. But him, he was somebody that I've never, like, I was like, wow, and that's when my insecurity started to come out. The moment I saw his body, and I had a C-section, I had a kid. So I have a little pooch, from that, when they cut you open, it's like, did you go? Are you there?
I'm here. I'm trying to find you.
Okay. Oh, you can't see me?
How do I get back onto you? Can you see me?
I can see your name.
Okay, hang on. All I have to do is go in here and hit Zoom. There we are. And I should be back.
Yeah, it's just your.
Yeah, I see it. Let me see what I can do.
But I can hear you. There you are.
There I am.
But yeah, no, so I had that extra, when they cut your skin, it becomes, the muscles are all torn. So I had that little fupa, whatever you want to call it. It's not big, but it's there. But I was embarrassed of it because he was cut. He had that V cut and everything. And I'm like, fuck, man, so my insecurities started to come out. But then it was other stuff too. Like the energy was just so intense. Like I had to know what, like I don't know. It was just really, I've never experienced, insecurities were coming out that I didn't even know were there. And with him too. And I feel like we were doing it to each other. And when I told him I was insecure, he was like, really? Like he couldn't believe that I was insecure. He was like, wow, I would have never thought that. And I was like, yeah, I have insecurities. Little did he know I had a lot. And, but eventually he couldn't hang. He couldn't hang with he told me, he said, I don't love myself enough to be happy with you in a relationship. He straight fucking told me that. And he's probably watching. He watches this channel. I mean, because
Hi, Quinn.
I know. As a matter of fact, the other one does too, I think. But I don't know for sure. But the third one, when I was talking about, he watches too. But I just feel like, we both had so much insecurities at the time that neither one of us knew what to do with each other, to the point where it ended up being too much. And I don't know if that's what it was, but I felt the intensity so strong between us that it was unbearable. Like it was so unbearable. And it got worse when we parted ways. It got worse. Like I could not shake him for the life of me. And it drove me insane. Like, oh my God, the music that and I really believe that there was such thing as a higher self, and it was him. And I would find myself talking to it like a fucking weirdo. I was talking to it and I thought it was him talking to me. That's how insane I became. Like,
oh, you can, yeah. I mean, I used to feel like, I don't want to get into all the stupid shit I used to think, but like, yeah, I mean, it's just so torturous for a while.
Yeah.
So I cried every day for 14 months, like uncontrollably sobbing. And I don't think it was just about like him, because, when we were together for 2.5 years before the apparent polarities built up and then my insecurities came out, I never had any with him. And all of a sudden I'm noticing. And then when I'm noticing, like someone in the grocery store, and I was never this way during our time together in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I noticed that if there was a hot looking girl in the grocery store, I would think to myself, oh, he's going to look at her. And if he's with me, I'm turning to watch him, and he does exactly what I'm afraid of, because they mirror you.
They mirror you. Yeah.
He would do the shit that I would be afraid of. And I was like, I knew he was going to do that. How did I know that? Because it was my fear, and they have to show you that. So he mirrored that. And that happened a few times toward the end of the parent relationship before he, ghosted. I was noticing, and then I was thinking, why am I so fearful? Why do I feel so fearful? Well, because by at that time, he was about to, and I didn't know that was apparently going to happen. Whatever, it happens the way it happens. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's
It
apparent
is.
journey is different. But I think the similarities can, there are certain telltale things.
I
The
have
obsessive,
similarities with both.
yeah,
I have similarities with the second, and then the other two, I have similarities with people that say that they go through that. So
yeah,
it was like I was so fucking confused. At that point, I was so confused because I was like, holy shit, well, what the fuck is it? You know what I mean? Because with the first guy, I had the telepathy, whatever you want to call it. I had the intense energy. I felt like I knew him before. The moment I seen him, it was like a familiarity, and it was driving me crazy because I was like, I know you, but I've never seen you before a day in my life. And then I thought, well, it was a past life connection, all that shit. And even with the third guy that I've been dealing with, that I cut off, I blocked the situation because I had to, because it was the addictive energy was just getting so unhealthy. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah,
man, I gotta cut this short because I know he knows who I am. I know he knows who I am, and we connect with each other through the music and all that shit. But I want someone that can actually communicate with me besides that,
yeah,
like that, because it can drive you insane because you're like, is this real or not? Like, what's fucking happening? But
right.
once I blocked him, I started to notice he went and set his shit to private right after I did that. He's fucking TikTok famous, whatever. And they don't do that shit. They're not gonna set their shit to private because they want followers. And I'm
Yeah,
saying this shit right now because I'm not afraid to speak out about it now, where before I
yeah,
was. But I'm just like, because I know he's watching. I know he's fucking watching, but it's like, man, like if you can't come at me in a way that we can communicate properly, I'm gonna block you. Because if he mirrors my insecurities too. And I
yeah.
mirror his too. We're going back and forth. And so at some point, you got to cut it short. You have to cut it short. You can't keep going on like that.
No, you
You
have
know
to
what I mean?
self-preservation.
Yes, like I know my value, I know my worth, and you have to
Right.
know that as well. Like if you're gonna communicate with me, treat me like you want to talk to me and stuff.
Yeah.
Value me as
No.
much as I value myself instead of doing this fuckery shit. But
Yeah.
but with that's what I'm saying, with all those two guys and then this one in the middle that they would say is probably most likely the twin flame, but I don't even know that. Like, I don't know what a twin flame is. I don't know what any of that
I
shit
think
is.
it's I without the label, I think it's just like you can call it whatever, but there seem to be like bullet points that seemed like if it started you on a spiritual journey, which your second one did that, and mine did that. Like I was never into reading or anything, and then I went on this thing. I was seeking like a crazy person. Energetically, I could not get out of the obsessive thoughts, no matter how hard I tried. It was like it was happening to me. I had the dark night of the soul, the begging to die, the purging, the crying and the crying and the crying and the crying for months and months and months, and I didn't know why. um it just was, I felt like something was being released. I don't know, it just felt like all of it was happening to me. And then finally realization happened with not a non-dual, apparent realization. And then at this point I'm like you, like I don't believe there is a separation at all.
There's
Things still
not.
happen. I still see the numbers.
Mhm.
Like you do, I see the numbers. The songs, the other morning I sent you the recording because it was the first song that came on in the morning. I'm like,
I
really?
know, I heard that.
um Family members show up in my feed of his, because you resonate. It's not him doing anything, it's the energy between us. The two human bodies is the same energy, so you're going to be resonating with what you resonate with. They resonate with, they resonate. It's because the energy is shared between apparent two human bodies. You're going to see shit, they're going to see shit. The difference is we know why we're seeing the shit. Apparently they don't have any clue why they're seeing your name or why they're seeing numbers or whatever. They don't have any idea. One is the awakening, twin, and the other one is just go along for the ride, basically, because they are you. So that resonates for me, like that part of the twin flame story, because I
Mhm.
feel like that's what's unfolding for me here. um but like there's no attachment to what finally happened. And I think this is something that, I had a twin flame coach, we won't talk about his name, but he did say what will finally happen is we'll just like you'll recognize that they are you, and it's not in here. You'll never get it here. If you're trying to conceptualize this with your mind, you'll never get it. You can't get it from your mind. It's a resonance. It's in your soul. and you just know they are you. And it doesn't be like, it's not like, for at least here, it's not like, oh my God, it used to be when I first started feeling, oh my God, he's me, I am him, because then there's a him. It is me. He is whatever his body is me. So I don't feel like separate from him anymore. So like whatever that body's doing, whatever life it's living, it doesn't feel like separate from me anymore. You know what I mean? If he shows up, he shows up. If not, he doesn't.
You know what's so funny is I resonated with, like, I don't even look at him as being me. I look at it as just energy appearing to happen as it is. I
Right.
don't even look at the human body and the signs neither being separate from one another. I look at them as what's is one. All of
Right.
it's one. Even me and him, everything is just one, and it's all just what's appearing to happen. And the signs aren't separate from him.
Right.
It is him
Right.
and everything else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's all just one appearing to
Yeah.
happen. And I used to look at him, signs, me, him. I never looked at it as all just one big source of energy, just appearing to happen as is. And
Right.
now it's like, I don't see any of that anymore. And that it's like a breakthrough that just kind of like punched right through, like, okay, look, the signs that you thought was separate from him is actually not separate from him. It is him arising as is,
Yep.
you know, and I don't look at it as like he's me and I'm him. I'm just looking at
Right.
it. It's all just what's arising and appearing to happen anymore. Well, that's how I resonate,
No, it makes sense.
you know?
But for lack of another way, because language is such a barrier,
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to use words like him, I, us, this. But
See, but
yeah,
that confused me when they used to do that, because I used to really like it took me to that fairy tale thing, you know, like being in that fairy tale, like you are me and I am him. And I was really seeking out and stuff. And now it's like that I can't even say it anymore, because it's like, it's just now the signs and him aren't separate. I'm not separate from him, and the signs aren't separate from him. It's
right.
all just is. There is no
Yeah.
separation at all,
No.
you know?
And the person, which is, not separate either, but in its appearance of a separation,
Yeah.
is what gets hung up on, the fairy tale and the bullshit, the illusion. That's not even, you know what I mean? That's what I think energetically gets in the way of you being, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with it, because you're going to do it till you do it.
Yeah.
And I, again, using you, me, I, because there's no other way to get around that verbiage. But when it's just realized that nothing is separate, that it's
Separate.
all this, it's just so cool, because it doesn't matter anymore. You're not trying to be with your twin flame anymore, because you already are that. And that's what the teachers that I followed, the ones that I
Yeah.
thought were credible anyway, that got it or appeared to speak it as the way I think it is, they say that, like, once you fucking come to that realization, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, you're so concentrated on what
They
you
never
are.
left. They never
never
left the whole time. They never left. And that's what I was trying to tell you when we were talking before. I was like, they never left. Like, those signs are, it is what it is. It is that appearing as that. I was like, but the whole time we were looking at it as being separate for so long. And now it's like, oh God, well, there it is. There he goes.
Yeah. It's
Even
still
through
like,
the songs and everything, like, that's why you're here. I feel like that's why it's coming more to you now. And for me, it's like,
oh my
it's
God,
making
constant.
sense now.
It's constant. I mean, the numbers are, I can't tell you the number of times I saw 43 yesterday. I was starting to laugh because it was so much. Even today on my ride, I took an hour-long ride to Bridgington and then came back. It was 11s and 43s. It's just, now it's just, and it's always been pretty prevalent, but before in the story, you would get excited in the beginning. Oh, it's 1111. Oh, I saw that number. Oh, it must mean this. Oh, he's coming back, because there was a separation energy going on, and you were not interpreting them wrong. The numbers are still going to come, but it was looked at in a different way. Now it's seen that it's kind of magic, but it isn't, because it is it's just a kind of, the way I see it is like, it's not a separation, but it's kind of an encouragement, like, because I'm resonating with the numbers, you know what I mean? That I don't know how to say it. There's no one resonating, but it's also cool. Like, the numbers keep showing up, and even though they're not important or there's no attachment to them, it's cool to keep seeing them because it's so, you can't deny it. It's so
Yeah.
fucking constant. Like it's
Oh
just
God.
constant.
After meeting him, well, after me and him parted ways, apparently, after we had parted ways was when the numbers started. I remember I started to see 1010, and I don't know if it was tied to him, but for some reason, when we parted ways, that's when I started to see it. And then 1111 started to happen, and then all the other ones followed pursuit behind it. And it would, God, and it would happen more so when I was obsessively thinking about him. It was crazy, even the name and all that. It was, and I feel like it kept popping up to show me, like, look, there's no separation, there's no separation, there's no separation, there's no separation. Like it was trying to remind me, like even seeing his name and hearing it, or seeing motherfuckers that look like him, that was insane. That was all the goddamn time. I thought, what the fuck is this? I was like, how the hell am I ever gonna get over this dude? I can't get over him because I'm seeing people that look just like him or have his characteristics, you know? And it was funny because I now that I look at it, when me and him were sitting in my car that day, and he looked at me and he said, I need time. And he even said, I don't even know why I'm saying this to you, but I need time. And I feel now it's like he don't even know, I don't think why, but I realize now, like, he said that because he wanted to show me, energetically wise, I'm not leaving. I've never left, but I have to do this to show you that there's no separation at all.
Yeah.
Even though I may not show up physically, right? I will still be here in other ways.
Yeah.
And I had to go through all of that. Now this is just a story, but I'm looking at it like I went through all of that to get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It can be, for me, I mean, I'm at the point now, it's been, I haven't seen my twin, haven't seen him. He got married, to someone else, somebody that he met before he left. And I know that just sounds like typical story. Oh, he met someone else, he left. No, it's not like the normal, cheating kind of, it was a completely different vibe. But yeah, and it took a long time, the process to energetically get through all of that addictive fear-based stuff took fucking forever. But I can tell you that, I think it happens for you, even though there's no you, rather than to you, because at the end of it, it's so beautiful. Like I'm so grateful finally, and I never thought I'd be grateful. I was like, I fucking hate my life. But now I look at it, I see the whole, it's like if you do embroidery and you look at the back of it, it just looks like a bunch of strings, right? But you flip it over and there's the picture of what, it's like that. The whole time it was the back side of an embroidered picture, and now it's flipped and I can see it, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's really, if folks are watching this and going through it, it's gonna change. You're gonna see it, and you're gonna be like so fucking grateful. Like it is true. I think that there's so much gratitude.
It helps get rid of all that abandonment issues that people have. I think a lot of it stems from abandonment issues. They're afraid of being abandoned, and that's why they want the twin back so bad, because it's like they I don't know, it's like that fear of being abandoned. And I know that's what I was feeling. Oh my God.
Too.
I remember watching so many like movies. There's so many movies that I watched. I would really like be, this is us. This is what, what I'm saying? Like, I resonated with, the one I resonated with a lot, Serendipity. I don't know if you watched that one.
No, I haven't.
Serendipity was a good one. I resonated with that. Of course, Adeline. What was it?
The Age of Adeline.
All those.
What Dreams May Come. There's a really old one from the 40s. I gotta tell you the name of it. That talks. They basically say it in the movie. It's a black and white movie, and she says, "I am you, and you are me." And when you watch the movie, you're like, "Oh, she realizes it."
All of them. God, there's so many movies that I would literally get the popcorn out and really get settled in and watch it, you know, by my fucking self.
Yeah.
Because John sure in the fuck wasn't gonna watch it with me because he thought I was just crazy. But he did see all of it though. He did witness a lot. I wish I could have him come on here and tell you like some of the things that he witnessed with me. Even with the Byrds, I don't know how many twin flames have went through the Byrds, but I did. Tawny went through it, my friend Tawny. Who else do I know that's a twin that was doing the twin flame thing? I don't remember, so long ago, but I remember just stepping outside and flocks of birds would fly around me in circles, and John would be with me. And none of that shit ever happened before this shit. Like none of that. And John's with me, and I feel like he was meant to be there with me to witness that. So I wouldn't think I was going nuts. And he would be like looking up in the sky with me, like, oh my God, like crazy shit. And then like I always used to see him in threes too. And me and Tawny, we were very spiritual and religious and all that shit. So we thought it had to do with the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, you know.
Yeah.
So we thought that's why the threes was showing up, because of our twin flame. But you know what I'm saying? I can't even put it all together.
I remember you were with me when I had the bird thing happen here too, and it was crows, and I didn't know why. And then there was like a big, huge thing of like, yeah, I mean, and I didn't notice until after you mentioned it. Then it was like, oh yeah, well, there's always seems to be a fucking bunch of crows everywhere, and I never like thought about it until you said it, and then all of a sudden I was seeing it. The big groups of the crows. I don't know.
I don't know what it means.
Part of it. I don't
that
either.
Was the first thing I saw when I was on my way to work, and it landed on a telephone pole. And you know how you feel the need to look? I kept feeling it, like I couldn't help but look each time this shit would happen to me. And I just felt the need to look, and I'm staring at it, and it's like it's looking at me and I'm looking at it. And that's when that song from Twilight started to play. 1,000.
I wonder if that's like the theme song to most.
Isn't it? Like,
if you think of that movie, what was it called? Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and they all heard that song. And I'm now thinking all the twin flames are here. That fucking what 1,000 years. They're all fucking here.
Yes. I didn't even know about that damn song until I heard it on the radio, and then I was like,
I mean, too.
Right? And then there was that song.
That's it.
And there was that song by Rihanna, Stay. I want you to stay. That song. That would play so much. And I told you, my friend Gladys, I told her to come in the kitchen because it was playing, and I felt like it was speaking to me. And it was like it was so like everything else was silent, and all you could hear was that song. And she was like, well, you know what, Shannon, she's from Africa. You know what, Shannon? Maybe that it's a soul tie thing. And she's trying to explain the soul tie, and the more she's trying to explain it, it gets louder in the background with that song. And she was like, and she just went, okay. She just kept saying that. And I was like, I don't know, Gladys. I don't know why this is happening. And she goes, okay. She goes, I don't know. Like she was in shock. It was all the time. And she would be with me too. And she would see some shit. And she was like, I've never in my life. She goes, I don't know what you're going through. She goes, but this is weird. Yeah. That's what she would tell me. And I thought I was this special person that was chosen and was going through all this shit. And then I had this community of other people that were going through it. Cause I had, my group that I have. Yeah. I had built, and then I became like a spiritual teacher, and I was helping other people, and all of them were twin flamers, and we all had this community, and I felt like we were the chosen ones. And now it's just like, oh man, I was really going through some shit. I was really
oh, I remember, like you talked about at work, like I must have drove my coworkers nuts in the first year. It's all I talked about. We're twin flames, and this means this, and that means, and look at how much we look alike. And, and they were sweet, but I'm sure they thought I was crazy, because nobody I worked with had ever gone through anything
like that
even resembled this.
Tawny did. And we worked together, and I'm glad that she was there for me. And we still talk about it. We still talk about what we went through together as friends. And hers is still, no contact, no nothing. But, you know, she looks at it as
Yeah,
I
but
do.
she's still focused on him though, energetically.
Yeah.
Well, then that's never gonna happen.
And I don't know if she is still, because I mean, I seen her just recently, but we didn't talk about it. He
Oh,
didn't come
good.
up. So I don't know what that means,
There's
but
people who waste their entire lives
yes,
worried about an apparent other, and they're stuck.
they're stuck. And I'm so glad now it's for me, it's just what's arising, but it's noticed. It's noticed,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my God, that's why when we were messaging back and forth, like, holy shit, like this is it. This is it. Like this is what we've been trying to, like, the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're
know?
gonna see the signs. You're gonna have the songs come up. You're gonna have, energetically they are you.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a resonance with him, apparent the other two with the same stuff. You're the same exact apparent energy, even though there's no
Yeah.
separation. There's no you and him, but vibrationally in a 3D experience, vibrations are real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what that is. I can't say what it is. All I know is it appears to be a thing.
Right. It's so magical still.
It's cool.
I love
now
it.
I can say it's cool because it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
I can say, "Oh, that was really fucking cool."
Right. And I'm still seeing the name a lot lately. Like the name's just popping up, and I'm just like, there we go. It's just like nothing, it's like, oh, whatever, there he goes. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's more cool now for me. It's not a heartache. It's more like
Yeah.
I'm more at awe now. Like, I can
Yeah.
breathe now. I can fucking breathe.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, thank whatever. I'm so thrilled to be at the end of that part of it, where now it's more focusing on the law of attraction and how that works, and how even
Yeah.
today I'm sure we don't have time to tell a story, but the story's amazing. I went to go get this thing on Amazon, on Facebook Marketplace. It's a Shibumi or whatever. It's a beach shade that I really want. They're like $350. This guy had it on
Yeah.
sale for $100. So I drove an hour out of my way. They weren't there
Aw.
when I got there because they said
Yeah.
I didn't confirm. I confirmed last night. So they were 30 minutes away. So I said, oh, we'll rush back. We'll rush back. I said, fine. I'll go to lunch. Met him back at their house. They told me it was the mini. He took it out of the bag. It was the huge one, the $380 one, and he gave it to me
Yeah.
for $20 off. Then he put it on the marketplace. So that's a law of attraction. I got the one I wanted, and I got it for $20 less.
I
It's
love
just
that.
constantly working in your favor.
Yeah, look, I haven't said mantra. Well, I've been saying them a lot lately, and it does switch it's like you got to first get to that place, and then
Yes.
then the manifestation starts to happen.
Yes.
Blah blah blah, whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, but it's just getting to that point. Sometimes it can be strenuous because you're trying to you know what I mean. You're trying to get to that. You know what I mean. Get to that place where
Yes.
you're just at okay again.
Right. Yes.
And then boom. So yeah. But this has been fun. We're about to get cut off soon, but this
Okay.
has been fun. I'm glad we finally got to do it. We've been waiting.
Me
do this.
too.
But
All you
we'll do
twin
more
flavors,
though.
hang in there, guys. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and if you want to do a one-on-one or whatever, please feel free. Just email me, and I'll leave it in the description below. No pressure whatsoever. It is what it is. But anyways, I love you, and you enjoy your day with
Love
your
you.
daughter. I'm getting ready to see mine in a minute here. She's blowing me up.
Have fun.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Love ya. Bye.
All right. Love you. Bye-bye.